After Oprah, what does he say about the possible release of his videotape testimony? The president faces the press for the first time since the Star report's release. And thousands of Indianapolis students could be sent home from school next week. Will your child be one of them? Also today, a promising prostate cancer treatment may not be as good as first thought. And new at 5:30, there are 7 things your kids could bring home from school that could make them sick. Find out what they are and how to stop them after Oprah. Next on 6 News at 5, the president is asked face-to-face if he'll resign.
It is one of the tough questions that he got during a news conference. We'll tell you, though, how he answered. That's coming up in a live report.
A police officer found not guilty by a jury may lose his job anyway. We are live with the latest.
It's an all-out effort to keep kids in school and prevent a measles outbreak. I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story all new at 5 o'clock.
I'm Kevin Dorn. El Nino made things easy for us last year, but we may be in for a hard winter this time around. Are we ready? That story all new, live at 5:30.
And Bob says some of us may see some more rain. 6 News next. The evacuations in Florida continue. New at 5, a local woman experiences the deadly fury of Hurricane George firsthand. Then Indiana police investigate a date rape drug kit purchased over the internet. Plus, it claims more than 1,000 Hoosier babies every year. Now hear how to greatly reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome after Oprah.
Join Patrick Swayze, Robert Wool, Lisa Ann Walter, Holly Robinson Pete, and Whoopi all this week on Hollywood Squares.
This week at 7 on Channel 6.
Good afternoon. A man makes a clean getaway after a scuffle with police, but wait till you hear what he left behind. Next on 6 News after Oprah.
From the laboratory to the dinner table, the big business of mass-producing cows through cloning after Oprah.
Good afternoon. I'm Dionne Willis. The sole survivor of Princess Diana's crash is headed to court. Find out why. All new on 6 News after Oprah. After Oprah, it is a crime fighter and a money saver. This unusual ankle bracelet could also be a lifesaver. Find out why. Plus, state police harvest a local pot crop. It may not look like much, but you'll hear why it's so significant. And since the new Miss America talked about hers, more diabetics are asking for this device, how it can change lives after Oprah.
Now you can see how it all began.
I can't give this up.
The weekend premiere of ER.
Premieres Saturday night at 7 on Channel 6.
It's designed to save lives and to save money. Next on 6 News at 5, this device gets to the truth. Find out how coming up in a live report.
It's a popular place for out-of-town visitors, so why did police step up patrols around the Children's Museum today? Find out in a live report.
And career opportunities are right at the fingertips of IPS students. We'll explain.
I'm Martha Weaver. New at 5:30, Hurricane George is turning a deadly path in the Caribbean. But will it set its sights on South Florida? Some residents aren't taking any chances.
6 News is next. A hurricane watch and evacuations in South Florida. Now George turns his deadly eye on the U.S. An Indiana woman describes what it's like. And did he shoot to kill in haste? This man, a bond recovery agent, in court today for the first time. 6 News at 5 starts now.
From Indiana's fastest growing news source, this is live, local, late-breaking 6 News.
Good evening, everyone. A weed and seed initiative is finding its results on the north side. One of the city's highest crime areas could now become one of the safest in the city, at least temporarily. Indianapolis police now have saturated a near north side neighborhood. Our Jack Reinhardt joins us live now from the north side with more on how this project is working. Jack?
Well, Deanne, it's called the Kenwood Project. It's the first ever weed and seed initiative here on the city's north side. And today and for the next 3 days, this mobile command center will become, for all intents and purposes, the North District headquarters for the entire North District. Now, the police have initiated this, or have identified this small area near the Children's Museum as one of its highest crime areas. The North District Initiative will concentrate on the traditional law enforcement problems that plague this area, problems like guns and drugs and gangs. And they will focus resources on those problems, including walking beats, bike and horse patrols, and saturation patrols. Police will follow up their crime-fighting initiative with a look at quality of life issues, problems like abandoned homes, vacant and trash-covered lots.
The 3 days is going to help us do two things. Number one is help us as a police department identify the real problem areas within. Like I say, with lack of involvement and lack of ownership in the area, it makes it very difficult to get that information from the public. So the 3 days here concentrated will help us identify that. The second thing is it'll give us the hands-on opportunity to try to recruit that involvement.
And at the end of these 3 days, the police will walk these neighborhoods with neighborhood leaders, distributing flyers, handing out information, trying to organize the neighborhood to take up the crime fight themselves. And this all occurs in a relatively small area here, from 29th Street in the south to 34th Street on the north, Meridian on the east, and the interstate on the west. And Dion, tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll see how the public and the police are reacting to this initiative.
Yeah, it looks like a long-term development that will work in a number of stages.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Jack. A preliminary plea of not guilty has been entered on behalf of a bond recovery agent who has been charged with reckless homicide. 46-year-old Stephen Hughes made his initial court appearance this morning. He is accused of shooting Joseph Mall in the head with a 12-gauge shotgun. That was in the crawl space of Mall's home early in the morning on Thursday. Hughes was looking for Mall because Mall had been free on $3,500 bond, and he had failed to appear in court.
He just isn't the kind of guy that would be reckless in terms of someone else's life. He is very conscientious in his work, and we just need to do a lot of hard work to find out what really happened, and we will have Stephen Hughes exonerated.
Hughes himself now free on $5,500 bond. His pretrial hearing scheduled for October 20th.
6 News has learned there is a new program in the works that could protect women and save taxpayers, save you money. It's going to be used in cases where women are stalked or battered. Christian Peterson joins us live from the City County building with a glimpse at a program that could save lives. Christian?
Clyde, this is what all the fuss is about. This is the jurist monitoring system here, this black bracelet here, and it's expected to protect people and save taxpayers plenty of dollars. Normally it costs about $50 a day to incarcerate someone, to put someone in jail, but offenders in this program wearing the bracelet pick up the $10 per day cost and hopefully comply with their court orders.
Bye-bye. If he violates that order, comes within range, which is between 150 and 480 feet of her home, then a signal will be sent to Anderson and a phone call will be made to 911.
Yeah, he's been on it, I think, about a month, and from all indications are he's successfully completing it.
Attorney Howard Bernstein kept his client out of jail by volunteering him to be the first participant in a new electronic monitoring program designed for domestic violence offenders and their victims. Superior Court Judge Robin Moberly made it all happen.
We're serious about enforcing the court's orders, that we're serious about doing everything within our power to maintain safety of victims.
This is going to be worn by the defendant, and when it's placed on, he's going to wear it all the time. He's going to wear it to work, he's going to wear it in the shower, he's going to always wear it.
Here's how it works. The victim keeps a jurist monitor inside her home. If the offender comes close to her home, it signals an alarm. Away from her home, the victim also carries a pager, which can activate an emergency signal. Probation officials say the system gets to the truth.
And then they get into the court making these claims, and the defendant is saying, no, I didn't do that. You know, it's his word against her word. This kind of monitoring will prohibit that from happening.
Judge Moberly says it will save taxpayers money and hold domestic violence offenders accountable for their actions.
I think it will increase compliance because the defendants know that there's no fudge factor. If they violate the no contact order, we're going to know it, and we're going to know it through very reliable technology.
Program for 60 to 90 days doing this past the so-called red zone area when the potential for violence is at its greatest. Now, she pointed out that Cellular One has donated about 10 cell phones to victims for this program in case they need assistance from work. It takes place October 5th, and there's one test case going on so far, and they say it's very good.
All right, using high tech for high security. Thanks very much, Christian. Starting next month, IPS will take a new line of defense when it comes to school security. The school board approved a measure last night that will allow IPS officers to carry guns. Not all officers will be armed, only those who work nights or respond to emergencies during the day. Each of the officers must take a firearms refresher course before they can carry a gun. But the defense is now set to begin its case in a Nashville arson trial. A former shop owner is charged with starting the $1 million fire nearly 2 years ago. 48-year-old Christy Williamson is accused of setting the fire on Christmas Eve of '96 to collect insurance money. On the witness stand today, an Indianapolis man who was in the shopping complex that burned to the ground could not definitely identify Williamson as the man he saw in the building when it caught fire. The case could go to a jury late tomorrow.
In South Florida, it is a time of tense waiting, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the only road out of the Florida Keys. And officials there have ordered the chain of islands to be evacuated as Hurricane George tracks west. Florida's governor also has declared a state of emergency for parts of Florida. Martha Weaver joins us now with more on Hurricane George. Martha?
Well, Dion, Hurricane George is barely a hurricane with sustained winds at around 75 miles an hour, but it has produced deadly results. Now,